This is the NFL. We have to be better, and that's the we. I have to be better for this football team. Our coaches have to be better for this football team. Our players have to be better.
Shedeur is way better than Dylan Gabriel. He just is. If Shedeur had started from the start, game 1 against Cincinnati at home, they would be the talk of the NFL right now.
Kevin Stefanski just dropped a locker room bomb, and the walls at the Browns facility are still whispering about it. Word is, Shadour Sanders and Dylan Gabriel went from cool teammates to full-on rivals in under a minute. And when Stefanski tried to play peacemaker, even his clipboard needed therapy afterward. This wasn't a meeting anymore, it was a Cleveland soap opera with shoulder pads, pride, and pure chaos on max volume. It kicked off like any normal day in Berea, which, let's be real, means nothing was normal at all. The room felt thick with ambition, stale Gatorade, and the ghosts of old draft picks, while Stefanski rapped a robotic pep talk that sounded like IKEA instructions instead of NFL fire. Then it hit out of nowhere. A helmet flew across the room like it was training for the shot put, and the soundtrack of destruction practically played itself. On one side stood Shadour, dripped out, confident, the walking definition of a highlight reel. And on the other, Dillon, calm on the surface with a quiet storm brewing in his eyes. Suddenly it wasn't a quarterback competition. It was a gladiator battle in cleats, and the head coach didn't have a page in the playbook for that.
Losing every aspect of the Browns, whether it's the locker room, whether it's the fan base, and even the media that was fine with pushing his propaganda and fine with pushing how amazing and elite Dylan Gabriel is and how much they trust him to run this offense. Now, we're not here to make fun of Dylan Gabriel. We already did that yesterday. At the end of the day, he's a rookie being put in a tough situation with a coach who has an archaic, terrible, awful, bland, predictable offense in Kevin.
Stefanski froze like a man realizing there's no section labeled quarterback cage match in the manual, and you could see the silent "not again" on his face. This is Cleveland. Last week, a drone interrupted practice. This week, the locker room turned into Hard Knocks Dysfunction Edition, and next week, we'll probably top it somehow.
Stefanski, hard to figure it out, but we know Kevin Stefanski's ass. How do you feel about not playing clean?
Me, it was Shedeur. I didn't see any interceptions when he was out there. Didn't see anything like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think Dylan Gabriel did a bad job. I was impressed with the brother, but I'm going to go with Shedeur. You know, the pressure was on him. The spotlight was on him. He showed up out on the field. You know, he played better than expected, reminded everybody who he is and what he brings to the table.
This wasn't just an argument, it was performance art. Two entertainers fighting for center stage with an invisible crowd in their heads. Shadour preached leadership and owning the spotlight like it's part of the job, while Dillon countered with grind, study, and accountability like he was hosting a motivational podcast. Neither of them is shy, so it felt like two mirrors arguing over who shines brighter while the team tried not to blink. Players started retaping ankles and fixing laces just to hang nearby and catch every word, while Stefanski stood in the middle with that forced calm voice coaches use before they Google high school golf jobs. Shadour pointed at his locker like it was a throne and dropped his bag with movie star flair. Message clear, this is my team.
Really say about Dylan Gabriel over the next 3.5 hours? Well, he was composed. Great. You know how he conducted himself? He conducted himself how a career backup should conduct himself, where you just hope that you're able to hold down the fort until the regular starter comes back. The problem is, we don't have a regular starter that comes back. Well, we do, but nobody wants to see him. So nobody wants that to happen. So here we have to hope that Dylan Gabriel, a guy who is certainly limited, a guy who's smart enough to probably be a coach in the NFL someday, has to go out there and conduct an offense. And we just little bit. And we have to hope that Quinshon Judkins is able to carry us into
Dillon clapped his hands in a ready, set, go rhythm. Not for a snap, but as a silent, I'm not moving signal that said plenty without a word. The debate turned to pure theater. Two quarterbacks, one franchise, and one stressed coach, wondering if the Browns even have HR for emotional earthquakes. Stefanski had to step in. That's the gig. Look calm while chaos does cartwheels. Talk teamwork while the room buzzes like a live wire. Both QBs nodded as he spoke, but their eyes screamed war, and the silent captions above their heads read,
Shedeur. We getting some new information out of Cleveland that the Cleveland Browns veteran players are about to turn their back on Kevin Stefanski. And is he losing control over the locker room? Now, we've seen this whole quarterback situation play out through the draft. We've seen what's happening in the training camp, seen what's happening in practice, and we've seen what's happening in preseason. Now, all camp long, there's reports that was surfacing and people in the media.
I'm nodding, but I'm plotting. The room split down the middle, half riding with Shadur's flash swagger and a last name that echoes, the other half with Dillon's quiet assassin vibe and film room receipts. The energy was electric, divided, and one spark from exploding. This wasn't just football anymore. It was pride and identity dressed in orange and brown. Shadour pulled out his phone mid-argument, maybe a reflection check, maybe to draft a cryptic, some talk leadership, others live it post, and the silence snapped like a string. Dillon laughed, that slow, mocking echo through the locker's laugh that doesn't need words to say disrespect, and the whole room went, oh, in unison. Stefanski realized coaching isn't just X's and O's, it's surviving emotional earthquakes, and tried to cut it off, but the clout scoreboard had already been lit.
You know, Tyson Campbell did get a little deep fried a little bit, but you know, he also played halfway decent. So you know, it seemed like the front
around the edge got him free.
Obviously, we're getting to Dylan Gabriel. As you see, he's gonna throw this ball, and Patrick McQueen's gonna dive into him right here in this midsection area here, right? And it's just not gonna look the greatest. It's not gonna look the greatest. He tried to and I would feel upset too. I would feel real upset.
So he called a full team meeting. Players in a semicircle like detention. Quarterbacks on opposite ends pretending to scroll phones that were probably on airplane mode. Outside, PR typed emergency drafts just in case. We're aware of a passionate internal discussion, which is code for someone almost got smacked with a cleat. By morning, reports leaked, not from players, allegedly from the top, that Stefanski worried about chemistry, which sounded a lot like my quarterbacks are trying to out-charisma each other. Twitter split faster than the Browns' playoff hopes, half riding for Shadour's confidence, half backing Dillon as the overlooked grinder, and the memes rained like confetti. This wasn't just a quarterback controversy, it was a reality show, and the new episode dropped every few hours with fresh edits and hashtags. Receivers didn't even know whose passes to chase in drills.
Gabriel was pressured on 41% of the snaps that they played yesterday for the Cleveland Browns. So,
what was everybody's first reaction to Shedeur versus the Rams? They were like, the offensive line was trash and he was getting pressured. I called that out and I said they're running cover one. Kevin Stefanski didn't have answers versus cover one and he was getting pressured too much. You know what people told me? He needs to throw the ball away. I said, is that the only answer you have? Yes, he needs to throw the ball away. So Dylan Gabriel, 40% pressure rate, you just need to get rid of the ball because that's what they told us about.
The tension was so thick you could bottle it and sell it as Cleveland cologne. Even the equipment crew started labeling footballs for Shadour only and for Dillon only to dodge drama like pros dodging flags. Then came the practice where everything boiled over again. If stress had a scent, the field reeked of it. Shadour took the first snap like a Nike spot, chin high, rhythm smooth, cameras invisible. Then Dillon fired an audible loud enough to echo across Lake Erie. Every throw became a statement, every look a challenge.
Football stuff and check it down if it ain't there. Kevin Stefanski likes his offense. He wants his offense to control what they're doing and dictate everything. And Dylan Gabriel is more suited to that mindset than Shadour Sanders. It's the reason why I believe Deshaun Watson struggled. I think it's the reason why Joe Flacco showed you just now. How is Kevin Stefanski going to put the cuffs on me? And I'm Flacco. I didn't already showed you what I can do, but you want me to.
And even the football felt conflicted about its loyalty. At one point, they both called a huddle at the same time. 2 kings, 1 crown, and the team froze mid-stride like traffic at a dead light. Stefanski reached for the only thing that could decide it clean, a coin. And yes, he flipped it to pick which huddle to follow, which felt ridiculous and perfectly Cleveland all at once. Word is the coach sat in his office that night staring at the whiteboard like it had betrayed him, replaying every leaders of men line he'd ever said. The fan base was divided, the group chat was a war zone, and Stefanski tried selling ownership the old conflict builds character pitch while thinking about padded locker room walls. Media day was a scene. Both QBs slid in with sunglasses indoors like movie stars at a press junket, making it clear neither was backing down. Reporters fired questions about leadership, chemistry, and unity, while Shadour dropped polished brand consultant answers and Dillon delivered TED Talk calm with more than a little shade. The cameras loved it, the internet clipped it, and the Browns' quarterback drama went fully public with smiles that didn't fool anyone. Stefanski smiled like a hostage blinking for help in Morse code.
0 for 4 on 3rd down because Dillon was playing not to lose. Don't throw it to them, don't put it on the ground. And he Did a great job of that. But on one of those third downs, you have to try to make a play to win the football game. And trust me, no matter what Stefanski called, Shedeur would try to win the football game because it's how he was raised. You're going to make a play because you were born to make a play.
Let's not grade it because we want to see Shedeur. Let's grade it fairly. That's all I'm saying.
I graded it fairly.
And everyone pretended this was fine for 5 more minutes. Behind the scenes, the rivalry went micro. Who had the cleaner locker? More autographs, more likes. It turned into an ego Olympics with 2 gold medals up for grabs. During film, they even did a silent stare down. No words, no movement, until the projector gave up and powered off like it refused to participate. Stefanski pulled the emergency lever. Team building retreat. Brown's language for, please don't fight in public again. And yes, the groans were audible. They got split on opposite paintball teams. Reports say Shadour went action hero yelling leadership with each splat, while Dillon built a bunker out of dummies and called it accountability. You couldn't script it, Cleveland theater at its finest, and somehow the coach kept that poker face like everything was part of the process. He told press the team was focused on the next game, but inside the building, everyone knew the real game was power. Practice settled for a minute, and then a charity event broke the truce when someone asked both QBs to sign the same football like a peace token. Allegedly, that ball left the building at escape velocity and might still be orbiting Northeast Ohio.
We're gonna go ahead and go play stupid, like Dylan Gabriel didn't get 52 passing attempts, get sacked 6 times, have a quarterback rating of 34, and look as bad as possible. And Kevin Stefanski continues to gaslight and tell people that, yeah, it's my decision, he gives us the best chance to win. Is he watching?
Because of course it is. Leadership meetings turned into cage match energy. Quarterbacks became brand ambassadors for chaos, and Stefanski survived by acting like this circus was educational. He didn't want clicks, he wanted control, but in Cleveland, even honesty has to go viral to breathe. The Browns weren't a team anymore. They were a weekly series. Every practice a new episode, every argument a push alert, another leak hit, not a whisper to a beat writer, but a full video from inside, a friendly post-practice throwing contest that looked like 2 QBs trying to overthrow each other, and the concept of teamwork. Shadour rifled one so hard it dented a Gatorade cooler.
I can tell you, everything has backfired. Due to the sabotage of Shadour Sanders, every coach looked like they don't know what they was talking about or what they was doing in the draft. You have a bunch of teams looking like they failed at drafting a quarterback, which it was predicted that Shadour Sanders would go first or second behind Cam Ward, which Skip Bayless said this is the best quarterback he's seen, and you know he's the biggest Tom Brady fan, hands down. He said he could be as good or greater than Tom Brady. That's Skip Bayless' own words, as he watched a lot of quarterbacks come up over years and years. You cannot make this up. Now, here we are, as we're watching the Cleveland Browns go down in shambles. As you watch Dylan Gabriel's gameplay, what I can tell you, yes, he didn't throw no interceptions, but you know.
And Dillon answered with a moon ball to the parking lot that an unlucky intern chased like a lost puppy. The clip did numbers, millions of views, instant memes, and fans arguing like it was election night, and the facility felt louder than a Bravo reunion. PR begged Stefanski to speak up, but he stared at the ceiling for 20 seconds and whispered something about weathering storms, looking 10 years older than preseason. Warm-ups got petty. Shadour called my reps before drills like a line in the sand, and the air popped with static every time he stepped up. At the presser, a brave reporter asked the only question that mattered. Coach, does this team have a leadership issue? And you could see the coach's soul grab a suitcase. He forced a tight smile that read, "Ask me again and I'll combust on camera," which hushed the room for half a beat. Then, spectacle, Shadour strolled in cool as ever, and the cameras snapped like fireworks. And seconds later, Dillon walked in too, because destiny loves drama. They sat at opposite ends like candidates, answering questions with cleaner quotes than a campaign, growth, unity lessons, standard, a duel of vocabulary that fooled exactly no one. For the moment, it looked like peace. Temporary, awkward peace. The kind that ends the headline with, "For now," and sets a timer we all can hear. That night, someone saw Stefanski alone at a diner, staring into coffee like it held the answers, calm on the outside, shocked serenity on the inside. This city doesn't do quiet for long. Heartbreak is guaranteed, weather runs wild, and the Browns will always find a way to make noise. Here's the bottom line. This is bigger than depth charts and scripted reps. It's about a room deciding who they'll follow when the heat's on and the clock is mean. The offense needs rhythm. The defense needs relief. The huddle needs one voice, not two competing podcasts. And the coach needs to pick a lane with conviction. Give each quarterback a real evaluation window with the ones, equal periods, equal calls, equal pressure. And let the tape choose, not the noise. If Shadur's timing and command flip the field, say it out loud and own it. If Dillon's steadiness wins the room back, say that too and ride it clean. Nothing heals a split like a plan, clarity calms the building, and accountability travels well in the AFC North. Want more straight up Browns chaos with receipts like this? And subscribe so you don't miss the next twist when it hits the feed. Until then, Cleveland is living episode to episode, but even a soap opera needs a lead, and the season won't wait for a coin flip twice. Pick the voice, back the choice, and let the huddle breathe, because the only thing worse than the wrong decision is no decision at all. If you vibed with this breakdown, smash like, hit subscribe, and share it with the dog pound. See you next time when the story writes its next wild chapter.